Week 3 saw a Super Bowl rematch and the results remained the same. Hi, my name is Frank Ober, and this is the third week of my weekly fantasy football preview. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 20-17 in a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. The Eagles continue to win despite quarterback Jalen Hurts averaging only 126 yards passing in 2 games. One takeaway from this game is that the Eagles twice got away with offensive linemen moving early on the tush-push. Let's see if this is a trend moving forward and if the referees are going to finally call this penalty. The Los Angeles Rams, the Eagles' next opponent, have notified the league about this. One of the wildest games in Week 2 was between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys place kicker Brandon Aubrey kicked a 64-yard field goal to send the game into overtime. Each team had 3 possessions in overtime, with the Cowboys finally winning on a 4th Brandon Aubrey field goal. This game had 2 of the best individual performances of the week, both by Giants players. Quarterback Russell Wilson had 450 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, with 2 of those touchdowns going to wide receiver Malik, who had 167 yards receiving. Another impressive performance was by Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff, who had 340 total yards to go with 5 touchdown passes. Running backs who excelled in Week 2 included Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts, who had 215 total yards and a touchdown, and Buffalo Bills running back James Cook, who had 135 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Besides Malik, wide receiver Amon-Ra Brown of the Detroit Lions exploded for 122 total yards and 3 touchdowns. Green Bay Packers tight end Tucker Kraft led all tight ends with 124 yards receiving and a touchdown. Once again, place kicker Spencer Schrader of the Indianapolis Colts was fantastic, kicking 5 more field goals, giving him 9 field goals in 2 weeks. The Colts have been a major surprise. In 2 games, they have yet to punt and have 0 turnovers. Another place kicker off to a great start is Joey Sly of the Tennessee Titans. He kicked 4 field goals for the 2nd consecutive week. And place kicker John Parker Romo, filling in for the ineffective Younghoe Koo, kicked 5 field goals for the Atlanta Falcons. Speaking of the Falcons, their defense was phenomenal against the Minnesota Vikings. The defense gave up only 6 points and 236 total yards of offense to go along with 4 takeaways and 6 sacks. This by a defense that was the worst in the NFL the last few years in sacking the quarterback. Drafting 2 edge rushers in the first round of last year's draft has made an enormous difference. The quarterback position was hit pretty hard by injuries in Week 2. The most significant is Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals, who will be out for at least 3 months. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings has a high ankle sprain and is expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks. Also questionable going into Week 3 are quarterbacks Justin Fields of the New York Jets and Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. Non-quarterback injuries include running back Austin Eckler of the Washington Commanders, who is out for the season after tearing his Achilles tendon, and wide receiver Jaden Reed of the Green Bay Packers, who is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a broken collarbone. Make sure you track the health of your players and check the inactive reports prior to game time so you can adjust your lineup accordingly. Please check out my article for players to start in Week 3, and good luck.